Hello, my dear students. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, I will discuss some important topics for Neet 2025. The topics I have chosen for you is basically a little bit conceptual and where the students used to find difficulties. That topic I will discuss in this channel for upcoming Neet. Today's topic of discussion is regulation of kidney functions. Now, regulation of kidney functions, I hope that you know the structure of nephron, afferent arteriole, efferent arteriole, glomerulus, PCT, Henle's loop, DCT, vasa recta. I hope you know that, right? So, in this session, I will discuss only regulation part. Regulation part is done by three ways. So one by one I will discuss. First way of regulation of kidney function is by anti-diuretic hormone, which is also called vasopressin. Vasopressin. Now, when the vasopressin will be released? Suppose if there is any loss of body fluid, then the fluid volume of our body will reduce. The ionic balance will reduce or ionic concentration will reduce. So at that time, there will be secretion of ADH or anti-diuretic hormone. From where it will be released? It will be released from the posterior pituitary. Okay. So first, if there is body fluid loss. So first point is body fluid loss. This body fluid loss can stimulate the osmoreceptors which is present different parts in our body. So osmoreceptors are the receptors which can sense the change of osmolarity. So if there is any body fluid loss, this osmoreceptor gets stimulated. Okay. So body fluid loss can stimulate osmoreceptor. And when it gets stimulated, it sends the signal to the posterior pituitary. So sending of signal to posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary is a part of neurohypophysis. Actually, structurally, pituitary have two parts, adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis. The front lobe and the middle lobe will be called as adenohypophysis, and the stalk and posterior pituitary will be called as neurohypophysis. So sometimes if in question they are giving neurohypophysis, you will not be surprised. Neurohypophysis. It is nothing but the posterior lobe and stalk will be called as neurohypophysis. So sending signal to posterior pituitary will lead to the release of vasopressin. And vasopressin, as the name suggests, it is called anti-diuretic hormone. So what is diuresis? Diuresis is the release of water through urine. Means urine will be produced more if there is diuresis. But here this hormone will help in anti-diuresis. Means it will prevent diuresis. So here vasopressin will prevent diuresis. How it will prevent diuresis? Diuresis will be prevent by the absorption of water from distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. Collecting duct and distal convoluted tubule or DCT can absorb water conditionally. Conditionally means if there is antidiuretic hormone present in the blood, then it can reabsorb the water. If it is not there, if the secretion inhibited, there will be no absorption of water. There will be diuresis. So here, water reabsorption by DCT and collecting duct. CD means collecting duct. So if there is water reabsorption, the fluid volume will be regained and there will be replenishment of fluid in the body. So regain or replenishment of body fluid volume. And when there is gaining of body fluid volume, it has a negative feedback loop. It will inhibit ADH release from posterior pituitary. So there will be no release, or the release of ADH will be stopped here. Right? So this one is by ADH. Remember that as body fluid loss will be there at the beginning. So if the question asks that what about the GFR, glomerular filtration rate? Glomerular filtration rate will also be reduced in this condition. Okay. So here the kidney function regulation is by antidiuretic hormone, right? So now here few points I have to tell you that at winter season, as there is no sweating means body fluid loss is minimum. That's why ADH, the amount of ADH in blood will be low. But in summer, as there is body fluid loss through sweating, that's why ADH will be high in amount in blood. Okay. And some of the alkaloids like caffeine, like alcohol, they can also reduce alkaloid like caffeine. They can cause diuresis. Alcohol, they can cause diuresis. Diuresis means release of water through urine. So this point, extra point, you have to remember. So this one is first kind of regulation of kidney function. Next, the regulation will be done by second one. It is by RAAS. What is the full form of RAAS? Renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, which is called RAAS. Now, renin is an enzyme which is secreted by a special cells which is called juxtaglomerular cells. So juxtaglomerular cells, what is it? Where it is located? So to understand that, if it is the Bowman capsule, this is afferent arteriole, this one afferent arteriole, this one Bowman's capsules. Now we have to imagine that between the afferent and efferent arteriole, between that the DCT will come through. Okay. So if we do a cross section of DCT here, it will be like this. So between afferent and efferent arteriole, there will be DCT. Now the smooth muscle cells of afferent and efferent arteriole, let's say here, where it is come into close to DCT, the smooth muscle cells of afferent and efferent arteriole become denser. Denser, dark, and swollen. And this contains the enzyme which is called renin. And these cells are called juxtaglomerular cell. Okay. What is the function of juxtaglomerular cell? We will discuss here. Now, first regulation we have discussed about when the body fluid loss. Now, here when GFR means becomes low. GFR means glomerular filtration rate, right? So glomerular filtration rate mainly depends on the diameter of afferent and efferent arteriole. So here I have done much bigger diameter for afferent arteriole, and for efferent I have done a small one. Why? It is actually the pressure when the blood will flow into the glomerulus and it will go out through the efferent arteriole. There will be a pressure which will develop due to the diameter difference. Okay, so the filtration rate mostly depend on the diameter. There are some other factors also. In another video I will discuss that. So when the filtration rate means how much of filtrate will be produced from blood to the Bowman's capsule, this filtration rate, if it is low, what will happen at that time? Juxtaglomerular cells, JGC, it will release the enzyme which is called renin. Renin enzyme will convert angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. Now renin will be there in the blood when GFR is low, and angiotensin, it will be produced from liver. That will be converted to angiotensin 1 by renin, and angiotensin 1 will be converted to angiotensin 2 by angiotensin converting enzyme, which is produced by lungs. And that angiotensin 2 has three different effects. First effect is, it is a potential vasoconstrictor. What is the function or what does it mean? Vasoconstrictor is the substance which can reduce the diameter of the blood vessels. So if the diameter of the blood vessels is reduced, pressure will increase. So if the pressure will increase, then GFR also will increase. So first, angiotensin 2 is a potential vasoconstrictor. Secondly, it will activate adrenal cortex to produce aldosterone. Adrenal gland, we know that it is present on the top of the kidney, right? It is a triangular shaped gland, and the outer part is called cortex, the inner part is called medulla. Cortex will have three layers. The outermost layer will be called as zona glomerulosa, and that zona glomerulosa can produce a group of hormones which is called mineralocorticoids. And the main hormone of mineralocorticoids is aldosterone. So aldosterone will be secreted when there is angiotensin 2 production. Now, aldosterone can reabsorb salt and water from the distal part of the tubule. So, it will reabsorb electrolyte and water from DCT. So, if the electrolyte and DCT will be absorbed by the aldosterone, there will be increase of osmolarity, increase of the pressure, blood pressure, so that GFR will become high. Thirdly, it will stimulate hypothalamus to promote thirst and drinking. So if the person feels that to drink and drink, then the drinking will help to regain the osmolarity. So here it is called RAAS system, means first there will be release of renin when GFR is low. That renin can convert the angiotensinogen to angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 will be converted to angiotensin 2 in blood, and angiotensin 2 will stimulate the adrenal cortex to produce the aldosterone. It will help, or it will stimulate hypothalamus to promote drinking and thirst, and it will have or effect, or it will have a property which is called vasoconstrictor. So by these three ways, if there is any low of blood pressure, the pressure will be increased by the RAAS. Okay. So this is the second regulation. Third regulation is called as by atrial natriuretic factor, ANF, which is called atrial natriuretic factor. Atrial natriuretic factor, in the previous regulation we have discussed that when there is low in GFR, but if there is high in GFR, high in GFR means if there is high blood pressure. So high blood pressure can lead to the release of ANF from where? A factor. Where? From the wall of the atrial chamber of heart. Okay. From wall of atria. We know that in heart there will be atria and ventricles. So from the atria there will be release of ANF. And ANF is vasodilator, just opposite to angiotensin 2. Vasodilator means it will increase the diameter of the blood vessels, so that if it is increased, then blood pressure will decrease. Blood pressure decrease. Okay. And once again, you have to remember that ANF also checks release of renin. Actually, renin, what it will do? It will increase the blood pressure, increase the GFR. But this ANF also inhibits the renin. I mean, it will send the signal to stop of release of renin. So that's why if there is stoppage of release of renin, that system will be stopped and there will be no increase of blood pressure. So here atrial natriuretic factor will work in this way. So remember that angiotensin 2 is vasoconstrictor, ANF is vasodilator. First two regulation we have discussed, it is due to or it is for the increase of blood pressure. But here it is for decrease of blood pressure, right? So this is kidney function regulation. I hope you understand, you revise well. So for my channel, I will discuss so many topics, conceptual topics. So if you follow my channel, definitely it will be helpful for you. And if you like the video, like, share and subscribe for more videos like that. Thank you. Thank you all.